Some movies are disturbing because of what happens on screen. Others, because of what happened while they were being made. Fires, deaths, psychological collapse, accidents so bizarre they still feel unreal. And after enough coincidences, people start asking a dangerous question. What if these films were cursed? Tonight, we descend into 4 productions surrounded by tragedy, fear, and something far more unsettling than fiction. These are the most cursed movies ever made. In 1973, The Exorcist terrified audiences so deeply that people fainted in theaters. But the real horror may have happened behind the scenes. Almost immediately after production began, things started going wrong. A mysterious fire destroyed most of the set. But strangely, Reagan's bedroom, the room used for the possession scenes, remained untouched. Some crew members believed the production had become spiritually contaminated. The atmosphere reportedly grew so heavy that director William Friedkin asked a real priest to bless the set. And then came the injuries. Ellen Burstyn suffered permanent spinal damage during a scene where she is violently thrown backward. The scream used in the final cut was real. Linda Blair also suffered spinal injuries from the violent mechanical rigs. But perhaps the most disturbing part was the number of deaths connected to the film. Actors and people associated with the production died during or shortly after filming. Enough for rumors of a curse to spread across Hollywood. But maybe the true horror of The Exorcist wasn't supernatural. Maybe it was psychological. Because this film didn't just scare people, it invaded them. Audiences reported panic attacks, nightmares, vomiting, religious paranoia. For some viewers, The Exorcist felt less like a movie and more like an experience they survived. And this was only the beginning. Because years later, another horror film would become infamous for something even darker. A curse that seemed to follow its cast into real life. Released in 1982, Poltergeist looked like a classic supernatural story. A suburban family, a haunted house, spirits emerging through television static. But behind the scenes, there was one decision that would haunt the movie forever. During the famous swimming pool scene, real human skeletons were used as props. Not replicas, real skeletons. The reason was disturbingly simple. At the time, real skeletons were apparently cheaper than fake ones. And from that point on, people began connecting the production to a series of tragedies. Several cast members died young. Most famously, Heather O'Rourke, the child actress whose line, "They're here," became one of horror cinema's most iconic moments. She died suddenly at just 12 years old. Other deaths followed. Soon, the idea of a poltergeist curse spread everywhere. And whether or not curses are real, there is something deeply unsettling about this film. Because Poltergeist was built around a terrifying idea that evil doesn't live in ancient castles. It lives inside ordinary homes. Inside television screens, inside the places where we are supposed to feel safe. And maybe that's why the movie still feels haunted. Not because ghosts were captured on camera, but because the fear inside it feels strangely real. But sometimes, a cursed movie doesn't just injure people. Sometimes, it kills someone. In 1994, The Crow became one of the darkest tragedies in film history. The movie tells the story of a murdered musician who returns from the dead seeking vengeance. But during filming, fiction collided with reality. Actor Brandon Lee was accidentally shot during a scene involving a prop gun. The weapon was not supposed to be lethal, but due to a catastrophic chain of production failures, a projectile remained lodged inside the barrel. Brandon Lee died at only 28 years old, and instantly, the movie became surrounded by myths. People connected the tragedy to the death of his father, martial arts legend Bruce Lee. Rumors spread of a family curse. Others believed the dark emotional energy of the film itself had consumed the production. But maybe what makes The Crow so haunting is the strange feeling that Brandon Lee's performance became immortal the moment he died. Every frame now carries the weight of real tragedy. And watching the film feels unsettling for one reason. Because the line between art and death completely disappeared. The Crow is no longer just a movie. It became a ghost. And then, there is the movie many people believe should never have existed at all. If The Exorcist felt spiritually cursed, then Roar felt physically cursed. Released in 1981, Roar was marketed as an adventure film involving lions, tigers, and other wild animals. But the reality behind production was absolute chaos. The filmmakers attempted something almost unbelievable, using real, untrained wild predators. Not visual effects, not controlled simulations, real lions. And predictably, people were attacked. Repeatedly, more than 70 cast and crew members were reportedly injured during production. Some suffered severe wounds. One cinematographer was scalped by a lion. Actors were bitten. Production became a nightmare. And what makes Roar terrifying is that the danger was completely real. Every moment of fear captured on camera was authentic. You can feel it, because the actors are not pretending to survive. They actually are. Roar exists in a strange place between cinema and madness. A movie so dangerous that modern Hollywood would probably never allow it to be made again. Maybe cursed movies aren't truly supernatural. Maybe something else happens instead. Maybe certain films push people beyond psychological limits. Obsession, isolation, fear, paranoia, danger. And once enough suffering accumulates around a production, the movie itself begins to feel contaminated, as if traces of real pain became trapped inside the film. And perhaps that's why these stories continue to fascinate us. Because deep down, we sense something uncomfortable. That art is not always safe. Sometimes, movies leave scars. And sometimes, those scars never disappear. Which cursed movie should Shadow Reel investigate next? The Exorcist? Poltergeist? The Crow? Or Roar? Because this was only the surface. The deeper stories are even darker.